Hi there, my name is Alexandra and I come from Sweden, so my English is not really perfect with the pronunciation and everything. But what I'm going to show you today is how you make um, a real looking tree and some rocks. I don't know if you can see this very well, but that's what I've started with. The picture is not great, so I'm going to fill this in with some ink later on. So I've started with some rocks and they're almost ready. You can say that they're almost done. So what I've done here is I've started with a birch tree, and now I'm going on the branches, or maybe I should say limb, because it's more like a limb that I'm doing right now. So that's what I've started with, and I'm going to continue with the limb for the moment, for the time being. I'm drawing a straight stroke here, or line, whatever you'd like to call it. I'm making it look like this. After this, you make small branches from the limb to start with. You make small branches from the limb, and to do that you have to make helixes, or maybe you should say curves, but when I read about what it's called on the internet, it said helix, so maybe that's what I would call it, helix. You make helixes. So you have to make a curve or a helix from where the end is. So now I'm using my rubber gum because I was not satisfied. You do that on both sides of what is to become a branch, because trees have a lot of branches and they can be quite difficult to draw if you don't know how to do it. So I make a curve or a helix and draw them so they have one bottom branch, but then from the branch there are more, well, there are small, what am I saying, limb. It's a big limb, and then from the limb there are small branches. That's what I was going to say. So you make curves from the limb, and you can make a cut from one side, but then the other line should be more smooth if you make a cut or gosh, pretty rough stroke. So if you make a pretty rough stroke, then you have to be careful, because else it won't look the part you want. You can also make in the middle of the limb you can make a branch, but then you have to make a circle like that, and then you make a stroke that goes out, and then you have to use your rubber gum so you won't see the line you've already made. There you go. So now you have a branch in the middle of the limb, and that looks kind of good, doesn't it? I'm going to show you in the proper direction what I've just drawn. This does not look very real or realistic at all, I know. Maybe you just want to see when I've come a bit further. So now I'm going to draw and be quiet. I don't know if I said that I was going to make a birch tree, and they don't have that much limbs, so they only have limbs at the top, but not further down, not that much anyway. So let's do this. I'm going to make a branch that goes down a little bit. So I'm going to make a curve here. I don't know if you can see it. I made a curve there. So now you're gonna have to watch from on top. I'm going to show you later on how I've done it. You have to be careful when you're making the strokes because they have to be real thin, and you can't draw hard because it would not on a tree or on rocks for that part either, because if you do, it doesn't look real, not at all. If you make like rough lines or strokes. I hope you can see what I'm doing. I really hope. And they're thicker in the end. Yes, I use my rubber gum a lot. Now I'm going to make the head of the tree. And that's the most difficult part, I guess, is to draw the head of the tree. I'm going to try to make this look as real as possible, but I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to manage to do that. Not this time, but I'm trying. Sorry, I put my hand in the way. It takes patience to make all these things, I guess. You have to be very, very patient. I'm gonna pause right here and we'll continue later when I'm done the branches. Now you've seen just, I'm gonna make it look right here. This is what I've done. So I'm going to make you take a look a little bit later, and I'm going to explain how you make the tree look more real. So bye for now, I guess. Hello again. Now I have drawn some other things as well. I have started with the crown of the tree, of the birch tree that start to, well, I'm getting finished with the construct of the crown. So since birch trees don't have that much branches or limbs at the bottom line, as you can see, but more on top of the tree. And I also made a bigger rock to make it look a little bit better. So what we are going to do now is to make the branches a little bit more curvy, and also, now I'm shaking, gods. I'm also going to make the branches taller, as you can see here. Here you can see I made them curvy. You see? Curvy and thinner at the end, like there and there. So what I'm going to do is continue drawing these lines, particularly at the top view areas. I'm going to make like as it is here, because on birch trees it is that way. So let's do that, and you'll see, probably, I hope. So I'm making it really curvy and thin lines, and then I make the two of the lines go together in the end. I'm putting them together at the end. First, I make the curves in different directions, because on trees it's never in the same direction. The wind is blowing and such things, so that's it. Since wind is blowing, the branches is going in different directions, and also naturally the branches are going in different directions, even if it's not blowing. This is my version of making a tree. Perhaps you will probably make up your own, and maybe less detailed trees than what I've made. Probably. Or if you have the time and have the patience and such things, you do. Not my way, because every artist have their own way of drawing. So, but you might actually use this version as a ground of making trees. Anyway, I hope so. I hope that this video will show you how you make the crown, and as you can see right here, I'm showing with my pencil now, as you can see right there, you can see that I made a branch behind the crown. If I move this camera a little bit up, you can see I put one branch behind the crown, because usually if you go on this view of making a tree, at the side view, you will have to make at least one or two branches that are behind the tree. So I've also made one here, as you can see. It's behind. It's from the side of the tree, but it's still behind. So it's what you have to do if you want the tree to look real. So I'm going to continue drawing now, and you can watch or whatever. this is not the best camera. Now I'm at the void, I see. The paper is almost full, as you can see. I've used the top of the entire paper, so I don't have much left to draw on. Perhaps you can figure as much as that a tree like this takes a lot of space on the paper, so you'll have to have either a big paper or you'll have to have you'll have to start lower down rather than what I've done. So that's my mistake for this one, that I didn't start at the bottom of the paper. Else it looks pretty good. And I'm sorry if my English is really bad. I'm doing some details right now, so perhaps you don't want to watch that. It's okay to just move on the video and so on, because I'm doing a lot of details right now. When we're going to do the rest of the tree, in the middle of the tree and on the branches and such things, and leaves, of course, if you don't want a winter tree or an autumn tree, you don't have to do the leaves. So, but I'm going to make some leaves, and then I'm going to pause this video and continue doing the leaves on my own. I have a lot of birch trees around my area, so, and I think they're really beautiful, so that's why I'm doing this. So I can always watch out through my window and see these birch trees right outside my window. So, but right now, actually, I'm not watching. I'm having this picture in my mind. So, but since we have a lot of branches, it's easy to picture one in your head. But if you don't have that much birch trees around your area, or maybe you've never even seen one, it's I don't know what kind of trees you have where you live, so I'm assuming you have seen one of these trees once or twice in your life. But to draw one, if they are uncommon or unusual where you live, it's probably best if you look at this picture to be able to picture yourself a birch tree. So now I'm going to pause this video. I have come a long way. I'm going to show you. Now you can see that all these branches are hanging down, not all of them. I'm still here up there. There are still a few ones that are not really hanging down, but it looks pretty nice. I think I've done pretty well. It's only this side of the tree that's still not done, but I'm going to pause this video right now. So we'll see you later when I'm done with that, and when we're going to the details. Bye for now. Hello again. Well, now I have started to draw some small lines. They're really short. I'm going to show you. So this is what becomes of the tree. It looks really realistic. It looks like it actually has um, something, some was, I don't know what it's called, but anyway, it has a shelter, perhaps you should say, no, not shelter, no, not shelter. It has um, a shelf. It has a shelf on top of the root. I don't know. Anyway, this has to be done properly, and now I realize I've put down the pencil too hard, so it doesn't look really real to say. And they're not going to be straight lines. They're going to be a little bit curvy, and a few dots, you could say. They're so small, so I would rather call them dots. So, and these dots makes the tree look more alive. And you have bigger dots and smaller dots on the entire paper, on the entire tree. Small dots and bigger dots, and the bigger dots should be darker and so on, because that's the sign of this tree. You recognize this tree from these darker dots. That's the birch tree. And since they have these little dots, or whatever you like to call it, it's not so hard to not recognize this tree. You know, when you see this tree in reality, not just on paper, you know that, okay, that's a birch tree because of these dots. No other tree have these dark dots. And now I am finished with the the tree and the stones and everything, but it doesn't have any leaves. So you make the leaves when you think you want, if you want one, or maybe you'll just want to leave the tree like this. I'm going to end this video just in a minute. And well, this is a birch tree, and I hope you can see how I've done it. Here's the stones, or maybe rocks. Here's the tree and the details, the curved lines, and you see there's an extra branch behind the tree, and so on, and these dark dots that indicates that this is a birch tree. So this is how you draw a birch tree from scratch. No, maybe not from scratch, but almost from the beginning. And you see that this tree is not entirely straight from the lower bottom till the upper of the tree, and that's because trees are never straight. So I hope you can see what this tree looks like, even though it's a bad camera. So that's how you make a tree. Bye for now.